John Gachi na yɛde no ɛdi nkɔmɔ. Prof, anɔpɛ wote me nka nyame asomdwe nka good morning. Bacho mpom te sɛn?
Good morning. I'm fine by the grace of God.
Very well. We are so much grateful for joining us this morning. So first off, the minister designate has already given an indication in the vetting where he appeared before the appointment committee, indicating that surely with the first initiative of budget that comes in place, he is going to do away with the policy on e-levy and then betting tax. Now, many are questioning where will he be able to mobilize the revenue and what will be the policy target. Now, your initial comment on this particular decision taken by the government and then the way forward.
Well, thank you. I think when we are discussing revenue, it's only proper we don't discuss revenue in isolation of expenditure. In fact, the very reason why we are concerned about the level of revenue is because of the level of expenditure. So if you are taking 2 billion, total of 4.5 billion, that is gov't levy, betting tax, and e-levy annually is 4.5 billion. Now you ask yourself, what our expenditure frame? The expenditure frame consists of 30 ministries and 125 ministers. That 30 ministry has been reduced to 23.
Yes.
How much savings do we make from that? 125 ministers have been reduced to 60 ministers. How much savings do we make from that? There is going to be restoration of toll boats, no matter how small it is. There is going to be retooling of VAT and the removal of betting tax and e-levy itself, and the removal of gov't levy itself is going to free the businesses and the people who pay that. And the taxes they are going to pay at the end of the day will be upgraded. The only thing is that they are now flexible. The disruption is taken away from them. So we don't look at it just because a tax is taken away.
Yes.
We look at it from all these two perspectives. Then again, you recall that in the NDC manifesto, it is stated that we are going to see a review of the Petroleum Revenue Management Act so that the revenue will become efficient. We also saw in the NDC manifesto that there is going to be enactment of Natural Resource Revenue Management Act so that we bring about efficiency in the management of natural resources revenue. When that is done well, it's supposed to increase our revenue from the natural resources sector. Now, at the same time, if you read the NDC manifesto, there is this proposal to take a second look at exemptions. Exemptions, which is huge. Exemption alone is going to about 3 billion annually. Now, when you take exemptions alone, the NDC manifesto is saying that exemption is supposed to be strategic investment by the state in private entities, for which there should be strategic benefit to the state. So, if you are not a strategic entity, you are not going to get tax exemption. So, all those things will make revenue available to the state. So, it's not as if those revenue are going to be taken off and there is nothing to balance the equation. So that is how I want us to look at it.
Okay, but from this perspective, you have espoused. Now, the big question will be that will all these measures cater for, the high target of revenue mobilization? Because many analysts have equally expressed the view that, we have to find renewed ways of doing things in terms of generating revenue for our country. Already, we are under an IMF program, and then the indications are that it is likely we may even go in for more money, regardless of what the previous government did. And so taking out all these taxes, reduces your revenue target in terms of mobilization. Now, what will be that one major, turnaround point for the finance minister to initiate that will see the people who are within the informal sector equally contributing to the taxes we pay, so that at least the government can equally achieve the particular flagship programs they intend to initiate? And so what will be your major concern about people raising all these issues?
I think those people making those comments are worried because to them, it's just like a linear equation. If you take this one out and you don't replace it, then it means revenue loss. But for me, that's not how you look at it. Because they are not talking about the expenditure side that is being dealt with significantly.
Okay.
So you need to look at that also. If you look at it the way they are talking about, I think they are speaking with the notion that they don't want any derailment. So I understand their view. But I think they need to expand their view to cover the expenditure framework that is actually pruned down significantly. And you listen to the finance minister designate. He said two important things. He's going to step up compliance, and you know that once compliance is stepped up, that results into more people paying taxes.
I was actually coming into that area because that was a particular response he gave at the appointments committee. But in time past, we've had the GRA visiting shops in Kumasi and then at Kantamanto, even within the Greater Accra, people who are doing businesses and then running big shops. Now, many criticize that particular initiative, that it wasn't the right thing. It was more of an intimidation of people who are into business. And so in this particular case or scenario, compliance enforcement and all of that, what will be the steps taken to ensure that people will comply with their level of tax payment? And what should the finance minister do in initiating some of these steps?
Well, compliance counts with various strategies. You know that we have not yet deployed the Ghana card efficiently to benefit revenue mobilization. So that is one area that will step up compliance. Then number two, those tools that the GRA was using, they were not arbitrary tools. They were tools that are enshrined in their law, in their administrative manual. In fact, no trader or no businesses or taxpayer was concerned that people were visiting their shop to see that they are doing the right thing. They were complaining about the frequency. They were complaining about the frequency. So you can use the same tool combined with other tools, but you reduce the frequency. In fact, some of the engagement went beyond the frequency. That in actual fact, the revenue officers were actually inundated by the pressure on them to bring in more revenue. So they were doing all kinds of things.
And some of them, to a far extent, were stationed at respective shops to monitor the sales that are coming in.
You see, I have worked with GRA before.
Okay.
Station people at the respective shop is a tool we have used several times. But you go there for a short period of time. What you are going to do you do assessment of the system, and then you look at the turnover, how things are flowing over a certain short period of time. Then you leave.
Okay.
You write a report, and then it's implemented to monitor the trader to see what is bringing now matches with what you have gone to see. So it's not something that you should go and stay in the trader. Somebody's premises for a whole year. So it's a tool we have used before, but it's for a short-term period to give you a trend that you will be monitoring in your office.
Okay.
So it's the way some of these tools have been deployed in the past that created the impression. So when those tools are deployed in a proper manner, I'm not sure people will be complaining. Because if you go there, you see there, let's say for a maximum of a month, you know the trend. So therefore, if the person is now filing, and the filing is now below the trend that you have seen, then you question. So you don't stay in the person's premises for more than 1 month. What you will see during that period, you have seen it already.
Kessben.
So that's where the intimidation comes in. But all those things are in the laws. All these things are in the GRA operational manual for them to use to collect revenue.
And so deploying some of these measures will help show up the revenue mobilization target of the government, and we must do away with e-levy and then the betting tax. I mean, the finance minister designate classifies it as a nuisance tax, and so, I mean, the first budget will do away with that. So it is right for him to do that.
Yeah, it is right to do that, unless Ghanaians massively come out and say, we don't want you to remove the e-levy and co. In fact, as the discussion is going on, there are a group of Ghanaians who say remove the e-levy, and these are businesses. These are businesses who say remove the betting tax, remove the e-levy, remove the gov't tax or levy. You know, so as for analysts, they are looking at the quantum that will not be there.
Okay.
But businesses are looking at the disruption those things are giving to them. So we need to balance all these views. But again, I say that all these things, they are not linear equations.
Very well.
We need to look at the two angles.
Kessben.
So if your revenue is now this, has your expenditure remained the same or it has gone down? I think that is what we need to be looking at. So if your revenue remains this, but your expenditure has gone down, by what margin? Will it be matched with the current revenue? I think that analysis has not come up by anybody.
Okay.
All that people are talking is that, e-levy is bringing this much. When you remove it, then this revenue is not there. Therefore, it's a problem. Then you also talk about nurturing the informal sector into the tax net.
Exactly.
Nurturing the informal sector into the tax net. That is going to be another thing that you need to do. In fact, we, as a nation, we like to collect revenue from businesses, but we don't want to nurture businesses like our children to get to that level that they help the country in terms of revenue. And that is what he has promised to do.
Okay. Very well. Prof, I'm grateful for your time this morning once again. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Professor John Gachi, Dean of the Business School, University of Ghana, University of Cape Coast, speaking to us and